Russia's team has been sanctioned by the IOC for sample tampering. Mexico is getting to work on its own tax reform to counteract Trump, and Mexican presidential candidate sparks row with drug cartel pact suggestion. Hello and welcome to today's edition of Mexico News Network's Breaking News Business. I'm your host, Elliot Bullman. Let's start with the information. Russia's team has been barred from the 2018 Winter Olympics in Pyeongchang, South Korea. Government officials will be forbidden from attending. The flag won't be part of the opening ceremony, and records will show that Russia didn't win any medals. It follows an investigation into allegations of state-sponsored doping at the 2014 Games hosted by Russia in Sochi. Despite repeated Russian denials, the Schmidt report has found evidence of the systematic manipulation by Russian officials of tampering with and even swapped urine samples, corrupting the testing. The findings led the committee to strip Russia of some of its medals from the 2014 Sochi Olympics and limit some Russian athletes at the 2016 Rio Olympics, a punishment that was criticized as not severe enough. The IOC's president, Thomas Bach, said of the punishment handed down on Tuesday, "This was an unprecedented attack on the integrity of the Olympic Games and sport." He went on to say that this should draw a line under this damaging episode and serve as a catalyst for more effective anti-doping systems led by the World Anti-Doping Agency. It's unclear how Russia will respond to the punishment. According to the New York Times, Russian officials had threatened a boycott if they were barred from the Olympics. In other news, Jaime Rodriguez, El Bronco, governor of Nuevo León, and who's seeking an independent candidacy for the Mexican presidency, said if he succeeds in becoming Mexico's next president, he'll lower taxes to compete with lower rates in the United States if President Donald Trump's fiscal reform is approved in the Congress. The Mexican government is closely monitoring Trump's tax plans, and some senior officials and lawmakers say the country may have to reduce its taxation, which currently stands at 30%, if the United States does the same. Nuevo León, where the vast industrial center of Monterrey is located, has been one of the main beneficiaries of the NAFTA agreement, a fact that generated investments from companies seeking access to the U.S. market. Known as El Bronco for his direct style, Rodriguez, 59 years old, leads the independent candidates in collecting the 866,593 signatures needed before February 19th to appear on the ballots on July the 1st, according to data from the Electoral Authority. Moving on. One of the leading Mexican presidential aspirants, Andrés Manuel López Obrador, has sparked anger after publicly stating that he wants to explore the idea of an amnesty for drug cartel kingpins in an attempt to bring peace to the country. Speaking in the violence-racked southern state of Guerrero earlier this week, the politic said he wanted a dialogue on the drug war that has cost the country an estimated 200,000 lives over the last decade. The comments caused widespread condemnation from López Obrador's opponents in the political and business classes, many of whom are unnerved by a surge in support for the left-winger. The suggestion was roundly rejected by right-wing PAN National President Ricardo Anaya, who could possibly end up competing against AMLO on next year's ballot if he's ultimately chosen to be the candidate for the Citizens Front for Mexico. He called López Obrador's suggestion an extremely old idea that had already failed in other countries such as Colombia, where the government tried to negotiate with infamous drug lord Pablo Escobar and ended up with a complete disaster as a result. López Obrador leads early polls with a recent survey in the newspaper Reforma, putting him 14 points ahead of the likely PRI candidate, the former finance minister José Antonio Meade. And finally, let's turn to the markets. The Mexican peso increased 0.0698 or 0.37% to 18.92 from 18.85 in the previous trading session. IPC Mexico decreased 489 points or 1.03% to 46,973 from 47,463 in the previous trading session. This was all for today. Thank you for staying with us. I'm your host, Elliot Bullman. Remember to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Google+, and log on to MexicoNewsNetwork.com for more information on Mexico and the world. Until next time.